Whoa there, Space Cowboy. Brokeback Bebop is a podcast with explicit content intended only for mature bounty hunters. Listener discretion is advised. Listen to all 40 steamy sessions of the show right now by supporting Brokeback Bebop at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay.
3, 2, 1, let's jam! Wow, is that Aerosmith's Steven Tyler? Almost. Hello, everybody. Thank you for supporting us to get this jam-packed schmucker of a content. Just a big old full jar of jam serving up hot for you.
Hey there, all you 100-year-olds, 99-year-olds, and everything above that. We got a smuckery smuck for you today.
No, it is Smuckers, isn't it?
It's Smuckers.
Why was I thinking Schmuckers?
Dinner for Schmucks is the film starring Steve Carell.
Yeah,
and Paul
that's
Rudd.
the jelly brand, right?
Yeah, Dinner for Schmucks. The movie where Steve Carell makes like rat miniatures with dead mice that he finds in the street.
Welcome, everyone, to the greatest podcast on God's green Patreon. That is
Dinner
of
for
course,
Schmucks.
Brokeback Bebop, the most unfortunately titled anime podcast, and I'm sure there's all kinds of unfortunate anime podcast titles out there. How you doing, Steven? You're a injured boy. How you feeling it at the moment? What is the status?
Moment. Well, I'm not doing any bounty hunting anytime super soon, unfortunately. I have what's called sesame seed-itis. It actually sounds a lot like it's called sesamoiditis. It's something in like the bones in my foot are all overused and overworked.
Too many
from
sesame
kicking
seeds.
all that ass, but it sounds like sesame seeds. So I'm chalking it up to too many Big Macs and not enough Big Zacks. Get on over here,
shit.
baby boy.
I'm on my way.
You gonna massage my feet for me, Zach? You gonna rub one out?
The thought of doing that makes my skin fucking crawl.
How much do I have to pay on Patreon, Zach, for you to
shit.
come to my house and personally massage my
Well,
foot?
that's a different thing entirely because, like, this is also your thing. So you would just be paying me to whore myself out to rub your feet. And if I had to
Yes.
put a price on it, I don't know, man. I'm pretty desperate. I gotta pay those bills. Really, what we working with? What's your low ball? How long? Okay, how long are we talking? And
Till completion.
And do I have to pretend to be interested and invested in the event, or can I just be like, ugh?
You
letting
can be
this
like,
go?
ugh.
Oh, shit.
But completion applies to both of us, Zach. We both must finish something. I don't know
God,
what,
so that's
but
gonna
we
take-
must both get there.
that's gonna take minutes. So I'm thinking like $12.
You got it. You know what? Call it 13 for your troubles.
And I'm thinking maybe like, I don't know, Fazoli's, they got these like 5 meals under $5. Maybe you could slide one of those
One of
meals
those
my
for
way.
you and your special someone.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, everyone. Steven, we're here to talk about the 7th episode of Cowboy Bebop. It's been a while. The 7th session. I always forget that. Stupid.
go.
Idiot.
God damn it! Start over.
I just got the piggies on my mind now. It's hard to picture anything else. It's been a second since we've recorded one of these. Like a good second.
It's been a while, yeah.
So I'm excited to strap back in. I'm going to set phasers to... I still don't know how the world works. I'm going to set my phasers to Octagon 12. I'm going to push
They use guns.
that radar button right on the way
ain't there,
down.
that.
Yeah, and we're going to get on, and we're talking about episode 7 of Cowboy
Session
Bebop.
7. You fucked it up again.
Episode 7. It's heavy whipping cream.
Yeah!
It's Heavy Metal Queen. This episode was storyboarded by Tensai Okamura It was directed by Kunihiro Mori, and it was written by Michiko Yokote. It originally aired in Japan on April 17th, 1998. And
looky there. What a time. Look at our timing, Zach. We're so close to the air date. We're doing this as an anniversary special. Rest in peace.
Originally, yeah, we waited a month and a half to do this thing we promised to give the people that pay us money every week. We waited till the anniversary. That's why.
They make it special.
Yeah, now it's special. You're welcome. And in the U.S., it originally aired on September 24th, 2001.
Can't do anything about that.
Yeah, that's not an anniversary. No one really talks about the anniversary of September 24th, 2001.
Yeah.
I feel like the world was focused on some other things. Like, I don't know, I think American Idol might have been on.
I heard there's good episode of SNL a couple weeks before.
I want to talk
Giuliani
before we get too far. Oh yeah, everyone's
with a bunch of sexy
mayor.
firemen.
Let's get into for a second the concept of Hetty Melville.
Hetty Melville
Of heavy
you know
metal.
her, you love her. Heavy metal queen.
We're big heavy metal boys, right?
I like a little bit here and there.
I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of the heavy metal bands are like the big band names that we're supposed to respect, and I guess I do, but I don't always get into them. I think it's usually the vocals. So like, what's the closest thing that you've gotten the deepest into to heavy metal?
Ooh, okay. For actual metal, I listened through a bunch of Metallica. Honestly,
I was going to say the same. I don't really like Metallica
I wasn't
that much,
a huge
but I
fan.
tried.
I like some of the songs. There's a metal band that Ice-T has.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I fuck with them. Yeah.
Yikes. What
They're
are they
pretty
called?
good. I'm trying to think of it, and I'm so upset. I was literally talking about them like a month ago.
And what era of T is this? Is this like 90s?
They're still
more
around.
Recent? Jesus.
Body Count.
Are you just thinking of Limp Bizkit?
No, I like Body Count.
Okay.
They put out something, I don't know, sometime. They're around.
I think for me, the deepest heavy metal I ever got was that episode of Glee where they did the song Beth by Kiss.
Wow. I like Van Halen.
Beth, I hear you calling.
Does that count? Because my problem is
Does
that
it count?
I like some new metal.
Like
but
Like
poppy
Korn?
new metal. No,
Oh.
like new, like in you. Like
I
Poppy.
know what you meant by new.
Poppy has some weird shit. Caro Benito strays in that direction every
Shit.
once in a while. But yeah. Rina Sawayama uses very light new metal.
I'm sorry,
influences.
who? I'm not familiar with Rina Sawayama.
Rina Sawayama actually makes fucking banging pop music. So
Yeah, but we're not talking about pop music. We're talking about metal.
she uses
So
new metal influences, Zachary.
You know, a couple months ago, I guess now we learned that we've got to keep these like pre-episode conversations on the show pretty light. And I thought heavy metal would be the easiest thing to have a little light, breezy conversation
I liked
about.
Escape the Fate, but I kind of jumped right
Girl
over
table.
heavy metal and went to like screamo because
I never did that. I was just really
I just
into
didn't like the
girls
screaming.
who liked it. Yeah.
I
Or
like
any
the
of the
singing
rest of
part
it,
of it.
really.
I like the drums.
I'd be like, why did he do that? He
I
had
like
such
Through
a
the
pretty
Fire and
voice, and he just started
Flames
yelling.
by Dragon Force.
Big heavy metal people. Let's finish this. Let's get over that. Let's do some trivia for this episode. Did you write down any trivia?
I
for
do
this
have two
episode of
trivia
Cowboy
questions
Bebop?
for you.
Well,
One's hard, one's easy.
Obviously, the way I like it. I have it. I like two at all times. A hard one and an easy one. Talking about eggs, right? How do you
Yeah.
like your eggs?
I
Sunny side up, boy.
I used to be super sunny side up. Now it depends on what I'm eating the eggs with. If I'm just making some cheesy eggs, scramble them motherfuckers up. But if I'm making like an egg to go with my ramen, or if I'm just eating an egg by itself, I like it
like
kind
more
of
like a fried egg.
Yeah, I'd be
Like
frying
where it's
eggs.
more settled. If it's like going on something. But if I'm talking about like breakfast, eggs to the side of my potatoes and bacon,
I used to get sunny side up
egg.
constantly.
Yeah.
I find it easier to just mix everything together on my plate if it's scrambled.
I've got 4 questions. Obviously, I'm way more dedicated to this than you are.
I did less because Zach, you never do that many for Bebop.
I know.
I
I'm
didn't
very
wanna steal your
concerned
shine.
about a future segment, so we'll see
Sure.
how this all goes.
There's a lot of shit to unpack in this.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you a question first. How long was VT's round trip to Venus?
Was it 3 days?
It was.
Nice, because I remember the guy was like, heard you did it in 4 days. And VT was like, I did it in 3, bitch.
Yeah. He said, shut up, you fucking pig. Women can do so much more than that.
Yeah. VT's a girl. I'm just kidding. What was VT's parking ticket number? She kind of
looks like my PE teacher. What was your question?
VT does look like every PE teacher, man or woman.
Yes.
What was VT's parking ticket number?
No idea.
5.
Not even an idea. Okay, cool.
You piece of shit.
You're such a big man. How much was the bounty on Decker?
12 mil.
Yeah, sick.
What was VT's cat's name, you bastard?
Was it Zeros?
Yes, it was Zeros.
Is that something like kind of lost in translation?
It gotta be.
It tracks.
This episode, more than the others, has a lot of differences in the dialogue. Really? Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. You get 2
Are
in a
you
row.
done? Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
I
shot my load early.
I'm trying to. Well, just because that's the problem though, because now that you've shot your load, you don't give a shit about the load that I've yet to shoot. So
That's how it always goes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it never works. What is Ein stuck eating?
Them bean sprouts. They're good for you.
And what color is Spike's boxers?
Ooh, were they a nice like yellow?
That's close,
they're like a yellow orangey,
really.
Right?
They were striped, and it was like orange and a slightly darker orange.
Okay, I'll
yellow,
take the L.
It was orange.
Yeah.
Okay, but you did pretty well.
I liked him. What a skinny legend.
I guess
he's real tight.
I guess
He's got a real tight body.
This conversation is making me uncomfortable.
They call him Tight Body Spike.
You know, I don't like to think about the animated people this way. There was a part where you could kind of see a little bit of his junk.
Nice.
It made me deeply uncomfortable.
I didn't notice that.
Because you know that some underpaid, probably Korean animator had
Korean?
Well, because all of the animating ever is done in Korea. Is anime is the actual? Because you know what I mean. They send it off to the cheaper places. They'll do the storyboarding and the writing and stuff in their home country, and then they send like the actual work that takes 45 hours to someone that they
maybe
don't have to
from
pay.
the U.S., but in Japan they don't. They would never give a job to a Korean.
Anyway.
They would die. This cartoon will burn to the ground before I let you touch it, sir.
All right, now it's the point of the show where I get to remind you that you have to be the host of it sometimes.
Hey, yo. It's the time of the show you're all waiting for. We had no emails this week. So
we never do.
To Zach's favorite
no
segment.
Need to even mention
it. Where we find out a very important question. Now, Zach, we're going to find out
you don't even
if
remember what
Zach
it's called.
comprehended the episode.
Did
Zach comprehend the episode this week?
It's your segment. You call whatever you want, buddy.
Do you fucking no? Did Zach comprehend the episode this week? We're here.
Yep.
Zach, how are you feeling? There's a lot to unpack in this episode.
I suppose.
Or do you feel like there's not?
I don't think I'm gonna get it all. I think to get a better grade, I need to trim some of the fat and try to have a direct through line of beginning to end of episode, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're like,
I want that A to B.
You have so much detail, but you only got the first third of the episode, right? I don't know. I'm scared as always. I haven't put.
How much have you okay? Because I know sometimes you have in professional football, Zachary.
Can I take my notes out in professional football? What
in professional football?
Teams will
normally
professional football.
Yeah, teams will sometimes game plan. Okay, these are the first 10 plays we're gonna call the game, regardless of what happens, right?
Sure.
Do you have your first couple sentences locked and loaded? Is that shit in the chamber?
I
ready?
did before we started talking.
All right, well, let's not waste any time.
Yeah.
20 seconds on the clock.
All right.
Zach has got that much time to convey his comprehension.
Everybody knows how the 3 people listening to this, if that, know how this works.
All right, on go, Zach, as always. Are you ready?
No.
3, a 2, a 1, a go.
Okay, so this week's bounty goes amiss as usual, but it's not really the point because it gets everyone interacting with a trucker, the trucker world, and a particular trucker with a secret past named VC. I don't remember her name. Oh shit! And they have to work together, even though she has a bone to pick.
Stop
with. Fuck. Yeah.
Wow.
No, yeah.
That was not your best outing,
No.
Zach. I appreciate that you did get that somebody
What?
was a trucker. You didn't get that VT.
VT, I said C.
You did. That's virtual
Yeah.
currency.
I was thinking too many steps ahead to be able to say what I was trying to say now.
You did mention there was a bounty that went amiss.
Yeah, but that can
And
just
that
kind of
was-
apply that to every episode.
That was it. Zach,
Yeah,
I think I'm going to give you a really solid, big ol' long throbbing D.
Oh yeah,
this
that's
week.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We talk. This time was fine, but often this is the segment that we get the most heated, and my feelings get a little hurt, and I start crying, and you start yelling at me to clean up my tears off your clean carpet. And I was preemptively getting pissed at you about this earlier today when I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about how the last couple times you were like, later on the episode, you were like, well, do you want me to tell you what I really think the grade you really deserved? And I was pissed thinking about it because you make up the rules. You make up the grade.
Yeah.
Just give me what I deserve.
It's all mind games.
And was it a D? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll take it. That's about how well I did in high school and college. And look at me now. How many of those people talk to Joel McHale?
Honestly, probably none.
I'm definitely none.
Look at us. Yeah, fuck you guys.
Look at us. Fuck college.
Fuck. You don't need college to talk to Joel McHale.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual
Just
episode
need an email
of the show
address.
for a while. Is this the one that you mentioned that you are quite fond of this one?
I do like this one a lot.
Next week is the favorite, but this one is a favorite?
Yeah, I think this is a really, really strong run right now of episodes.
And what about this one do you particularly
I
like?
really
at
like
Broad?
the character of VT. One of the
Sure.
things that I love is when
I
a
like
show...
the voice actress. Let me already step into the English voice actress. I
Yeah.
thought did a great job for that character to bring it to
I
life.
thought so too. It was like gruff, it was stern, it was like, okay, this is still a mysterious character. And
Yeah.
that's what I like about VT is I love having a character that has a history, a whole fleshed out world, and we're only getting to see a part of it. I know that sometimes you
and
don't
not
always love
even
that
just
in
the
a show, but
character, it shines a light on a different angle of this whole universe. that
yeah,
we've seen
somebody
before.
with a different view
This
on bounty
episode
hunters.
dares to, and just like someone who works in this world that is kind of, at least at this point in her life, like separate from the whole bounty hunter organization. It's like this world doesn't just exist as it exists to the main characters and what they do. It's a whole government, bureaucracy, whatever, that has a bunch of different angles. They have truckers just like we have truckers because everybody needs to get their stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I do like the character. I meant to make a Rumpelstiltskin reference in my thing.
we'll
We
get
didn't
one later.
that far. Because that's one of the big things this episode. I did quite like this episode. I like how instead of asking me to get super involved in like the crime of the week or whatever, it's a jumping off point to get into something that I find a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
I like this episode quite a bit.
I also really like how the Bebop crew is used in this episode, except for Jet. Jet doesn't have a very big part. He's kind of just the grunt,
He's just
like,
kinda
I'm fixing your shit
fixing
again.
the ship, which sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spike should have to fix his own ship.
He
I guess
sure
it's-
should.
It's not his fault that it got fucked up, but still.
Yeah,
it's like-
I'm looking forward to when we get more Jet-centric storylines as the
isn't
show
Jet
goes
going
on.
off and trying to... Is he an active bounty hunter, or is he just kind of hanging back and
He
keeping up the ship?
more so that I think he is active, but less active as Spike. He normally lets Spike go off and do the things, but now that Faye's there, Faye goes off on her own and then kind of comes home to the ship.
So I did kind of have the thought in this episode when there's the little reference to, you know, as always, them not having a lot of money and I not having food to eat and Jet being like, sorry, it's all we got. We're broke. And I was thinking, well, like, get up off your ass and work, Jet.
You need to get off your ass and
Yeah.
work. Go to work.
Come on, ladies.
Yeah.
Jet should really listen to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, we all should.
Knee West.
Yeah, I think that I'm looking forward to more Jet-centric episodes, but I love how Faye and Spike are kind of tertiary and secondary in this episode.
Tertiary, but I think this is a good Spike episode.
It is.
I really like him. I feel like we're getting to see a little bit more of a aloof, playful with a smile side of him than kind of the I've been through so much, you guys.
It's very
and
Keanu
he's always
Reeves.
got that. Yeah. Well, you know how I feel about Keanu Reeves.
You do feel differently than I do about Keanu Reeves.
Seems like a lovely guy, but I feel like I never.
No, Zach, tell us right now. Why do you hate Keanu Reeves?
trying-
Why do you think that he'd be bad as Spike Spiegel? Why do you think that he doesn't
trying to.
deserve to act
Well, it's
anymore?
better than Harold or Kumar, whom went to White Castle.
I actually thought that he did a great job as
I
Spike.
do too. Is it John Cho? Is
Yeah.
that, yeah. He's been in other stuff that I think he's really great at. It's
Yeah,
not
he's
his
good.
fault that he's 45 years old.
He can't help it. He's doing his best.
The people in Netflix were seriously like, who's that one Asian guy that's in all the stuff? Let's get him. He's great.
And then when Ken Jeong wasn't available, they called John Cho. Imagine Ken Jeong as Spike
We
Spiegel.
loved you in The Hangover, they say to John Cho is in costume.
Oh, shit.
So how about that Bradley Cooper, huh? Okay, so what are some things from this episode that build to the world at large that we need to take away?
Okay, I want to talk about how much I love the design of the trucks in this.
Oh,
like
sure.
those
Really
are fucking cool because they're
I
like
agree.
spaceships with like attachments and like it's very well thought out when it doesn't necessarily like it could have just been a fucking space truck, but they like really went the extra mile like with design, which was cool. I like getting to see the like trucker bar that all the bounty hunters are also frequents
The
at.
way that they all communicate with each other
Yeah.
and seeing glimpses at the other truckers and how they've got this whole like just how the bounty hunters work within each other. All the
Yeah,
truckers
they
do
know
too.
each other and have
Yeah,
different like
I really like that
reputations.
too.
Like, hey, Heavy Metal Queen, never met you, but I've heard good things about you. Hey, yo.
Long time, first time.
Yeah. It's
I
cute. They
really
all have like
like
code
that.
names and like they all have like pictures of like shit in like their trucks, which I thought was a nice touch.
Let's talk about the music. Is the music in this episode the same band that it usually is? Just
Yeah, it's all
scratching a different
seatbelts.
itch. Do you know what their music outside of the show is like? Is it more
A lot of the members are jazz artists.
okay? So this is kind of out of their comfort zone a little bit that they're like adapting for
Totally.
the episode. And it is interesting because it changes the vibe of the whole episode. And it's just a small trait. Like this episode would have been really good without the heavy metal aspect.
Yeah.
They commit to it and that the band wrote all those songs for it or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it plays off really well.
I remember vividly, like, when I watched this episode for the first time, I thought it was so cool that it wasn't jazz. Because jazz is one of the reasons that I was drawn to this show in the first place, was because
Yeah.
I'm a big jazz guy, and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Like, kung fu and jazz, what more could I want? And then they do, like, a heavy metal, like, trucker episode, and I was like, this is also fucking awesome. Like, I love
was
that this
pretty cool.
universe, like, the music dictates, like, the pace of what's happening, like, or vice versa. You know, I'm excited for you to see some of the differently paced episodes kind of later on and how music like plays a
Sure.
really cool role in like setting that world up. There's one specifically that I cannot wait for you to see because it's the most Rasta Cowboy Bebop gets and it's fucking great.
That sounds fun. Mm-hmm. I want to start perhaps a new segment because
Okay.
I am finding something that and like all of the greatest things that happen on our podcast, they're being made up right now. I've been noticing that I have never been a big like action movie person in general.
Yeah.
So I've been noticing that I have this gap with watching this show that around like the 15-16 minute mark, my like dumb person brain takes over and I'm just kind of like glazed over watching it and not always like comprehending the character nature of it all, but not quite the inner workings. So I kind of want you to give me a little play-by-play. Like, what was going on with the dude who was the bounty at first, the like scrawny dude?
yeah,
What
so
was the little things that he had? and
Those were
that blew
essentially,
up?
like,
what were
little
they
nitrous
trapped
things.
in? Tell me about all that.
So what he
play-by-play.
throws out the window is like one little vial of this essentially like
Nitro, is what they
nitrous
kept
or like
calling it.
hydrogen
Yeah.
type shit, right?
Sure.
So he threw like one little thing out of it, and that was the first explosion. But in the back, he had like canisters full of those little guys, and so he was like basically running those like to sell them or to be transporting them or something. So he's like trying to get away from her. Yeah. Which is why he like had a hit and run with somebody, because he's like obviously like, okay, they're after me. I have a bounty on my head. Like I have to get there, get this money, and then fucking dip out. So when they used the whole one to blow up the thing, which they were for some reason in like a mine that the reactors were fucking up in, so it just like explodes randomly anyway. It was it was a combo of just blowing shit up.
So first they were like in ships, like doing different things out in space. And then something happened and they were like all trapped in a place.
Well, so
then they thought the trucker lady was dead, but she wasn't. And then she almost was, but she wasn't. And I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff.
So they chase, like she's chasing the bounty through the mines.
Okay, right.
There's a big explosion.
And is all that she's wanting here, does she want the money? Is she bounty hunting, or is she just like she feels bad for Spike and is trying to get back at this dude for fucking with his ship?
She was getting back at the dude for like she was trying to get a hold of him because he hit and run one of her trucker friends, and that guy wanted money from him.
Okay.
But she told Spike because she knows after she gets that from him, they can get that bounty, and maybe she can use some of that money to give to the guy.
Got it.
But then after it started collapsing because he threw that nitrous shit out there, he gets killed. She's like kind of stuck in there. One thing that was different in the English dub and the original Japanese is in the English one, she was like, we got to find a way out of here. But in the Japanese one, she's like, I got to get my truck out of here. So
sure.
So that's why she didn't just like get in Spike's ship and just fly out with him, right? So they get the truck free because Faye has.
I love that you know stuff like that.
Yeah, cool, right? Every once in a while, my stupid pool of knowledge comes into play, and that's one of the few times. So that was one thing with the English dub, is that she was like all about her truck in the Japanese one for some reason. But they like
there's not as much of that comes over in this translation.
No, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Cave's still collapsing because shit's blowing up. Then they get trapped inside. And so they're like, okay, Spike's like, well, here's what I'm going to do. Take one of those fucking nitrous things out. Well, the VT has the idea first, I think. Yeah. Because Spike's gun is broken.
That sounds like a STD. VT.
VT, it truly does.
I've got vaginal testicles.
Well, because VD is venereal disease, and that's not good.
It's vaginal testicles.
Hey, yo. When season 2 of the live action gets made... Also, not them, like... We'll
the
talk
payoff
about more
will be
later.
huge.
But they were like, okay, we're going to save some stuff for season 2. Never came. Maybe it will. Who knows?
It won't.
Sign the petition. I did.
Really?
Yeah. I'm all for the content. Okay, so they take the nitrous thing. Faye's dumbass, instead of trying to pick it up, like, around it, she's like, let me just shove my fucking pincer into the side of it. And it was like, oops, it's smoking. And
all of that stuff with Spike and Faye in this episode, they're starting to have, like, I hate you, but we might fuck each other vibes.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. That's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah.
It's not blatant, but it's a little...
There's a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
But the question is, Zach, will the heat ever outweigh the hate?
I don't think it has to.
Sometimes it's better if it doesn't.
Yeah.
So they use that, they blow it up, and they escape. But Spike's like, well, I'm going to blow up my fucking safety pod and my ship and shit, and I'm going to hop into your semi. But he doesn't say that. He just kind of starts the plan, but then shit goes awry, and he floats away, but then he uses his gun to propel himself through the nothingness of space.
I wrote a couple of things down as notes that I want to talk about before we get to the end of the episode, which is really sweet and nice, and ties the episode together in a nice way. One of them was, do you know what the literal physics would be of shooting a gun in space? Because I don't think it would be like that. Now, this is a different world. Maybe their guns are different and they're built for space travel. But I was just
I don't
curious,
think guns
do you know
work in
what would
space.
literally happen? But what would happen?
Well, here's the question.
Here,
right?
Vamp, I'm gonna Google it. I want to hear what you have to say.
It would be, in my mind, there is like an ignition that sends the bullet forward, but if there's no oxygen in space,
forward, I feel like, or does it just explode?
Well, it's a barrel. That's why the barrel's there, because there's basically a hammer that smacks the back of the bullet that makes it go boom. The gunpowder in it, which fires it forward.
The make go boom.
Yes, but I don't know if it will still go boom with no oxygen. I think it will, but my thing would be once it goes forward, I don't know that it would actually push him back at all. I think you could shoot a gun in space. I don't think it would fly the same way, but it would come out at first.
Without reading this entire article, it says that yes, you could shoot a gun in space.
But I don't know if it would
it's
actually
perfect.
push him backward.
The other thing I wrote down was, why is the family fun place called Woody's?
'Cause Woody.
That's my other note
you know,
from the episode.
Buzz
I feel like,
Lightyear.
is that just another Lost in something like with the zeros?
No, I don't think so.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's named after penises.
Maybe. I think it might have been like, what's a cowboy? And they're like, Woody's a fucking cowboy.
I really liked the end of the episode that I want to touch on before we wrap this thing up.
It was beautiful.
Because it's really neat how much of a story they can tell about this VT, VC, VD character, that this DVD character.
VCR, yeah.
I really like how much we learn about her without being specifically told and had the information crammed into our brain. It's like you pick up little sentences that tell a lot more of the story than how many words they literally say.
Well, Zach,
right?
here's my question for you, because this
Okay.
is a little thing that you might... I don't want to assume that you didn't pick up on it, because I assumed that you did.
You should always.
But
What?
just for the people at home, there's a kind of throwaway line at the beginning where these old guys are kind of sitting around talking about this like mythical like bounty hunter that's like really famous, and they say
That's
the
her
name.
husband.
Yeah, and that ends up being her husband. Which
I
is
don't know if I picked that up, but that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do we need to do? This has been a great, successful entry.
We have to
into
give
the
our
Brokeback Bebop
captain
canon.
for the Bebop this week, Zachary.
I feel like it's unfair to give it to anyone but old VB. I literally don't know what it is. VT?
VT.
I feel
Vinny
like that's-
Tescadero.
It's her episode, and she steals the episode. She's funny. She's
Yeah.
interesting. She's got a secret. She's got a past. She's got a chip on her shoulder.
Honorable mention to Zero's the cat holding it
Sure,
down.
that's my thought too. We just didn't get enough of them.
Yeah, I also liked the other trucker guys. They were
Did
cute.
you give yours to the same though?
Oh yeah, VT's a
Sure.
star. I wish that. And Zach, this is one thing that I know is different about this show. We never get VT
We're never
again.
gonna see her again, and I know
Yeah.
that, and I like that. But this is, I think I've said this one other time, but even more so, this is the one time that I would have really liked to see a little bit more.
I would love it if VT like came back for like, I don't know, helped him out of a jam at some point, or like
Yeah.
but this isn't that kind of show.
It's all
unfortunately.
coming full circle. That strawberry schmuckers jam
Hey
is
yo,
right back in front of us. Steven, before we wrap this thing up,
must
do you have
be
any final
jam
words?
because jelly don't shake.
Don't have to ask you for them. That's your is that your final words for the
Yeah.
lovely people? Okay, thank you everyone for supporting us and for rocket shipping across the galaxy with us through Brokeback Bebop. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week. It's good to be back.
Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow, bow wow.
You know,
wow, wow,
I've been
wow.
meaning to have a conversation with you about this.
Uh-huh.
Because the way that I like to end podcasts, I usually put music over
But
like
I
us talking as it goes out. But yeah, you always do that. and when one of us is doing music, it makes... we'll see you next week, guys. We gotta talk about this off mic.
Bye,
You
everyone.
fucking insolent.
Insulin.
Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light into night.
Thanks for listening. Support this show and our podcast network at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast, where starting at $5 a month, you can get immediate access to all 40 outrageous sessions of Brokeback Bebop. See you next time, Space Cowboy.
Live up!